far as how to do something with the system, or if you feel like the system isn't behaving the way that it should, how you can contact support so we can get that help that you need. So again, here's our agenda, and our main objective is that everybody leaves with a foundational understanding of what knock is, how to manage your prospects and calendar, and how to navigate throughout the dashboard. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started, and let's just talk about why we should be excited to learn about the Knock CRM. Well, Knock is going to help you save time on your daily tasks. This is going to make your day-to-day more seamless and productive. Also, Knock is going to help you beat the competition. How? Well, one way is that you're going to be reaching out to prospects quicker, and all communication platforms are going to be centralized into one system. And we're going to talk about how that works throughout today's session. Also, Knock is going to help make leasing easy. And since Knock will be integrated with your property management system, it's going to make sure we're getting all of the credit for all of the work we're doing in both systems. And of course, you should be excited to become a Knock Star, which is just an expert in our fantastic system. So let's answer that first question. What is Knock? Well, the easy answer is that Knock is a CRM that was specifically created to manage the prospect lifecycle. But I wanted to dive just a little bit deeper and highlight a few very special things. First, Google Chrome. I want to emphasize that Google Chrome should be the browser that you use when you access Knock. This is going to result in optimal functionality. So Google Chrome is your browser of choice. Just think the back end of Knock was created with that assumption in mind that we're utilizing Google Chrome. So for, again, full optimization, full functionality, we want to always use Google Chrome as your browser when you are accessing the Knock CRM. Now, as far as a CRM definition, I mentioned Knock as a CRM. Some of you may have used CRMs in the past. This may be the very first time. So what is it? Well, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool. And that's what Knock is. That's what it does. It helps you manage your relationships with your prospects. Now, I also mentioned that we have a PMS integration. So let's talk about that a little bit further. So we are fully integrated with your property management system, right? So that's your RealPage, one site, right? That's Yardi, MRI, AMSI, Entrata, Resman, and Appfolio. And because of this seamless integration, we're going to have a bi-directional feed into both systems. So that when data is entered into one system, we're going to see it in both places. So the systems are talking to each other, they're importing and exporting information, which means you are not going to have to enter the same information in both systems. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is our tracking numbers and API integration. So I mentioned how all communication is being filtered into one system, right? It's all going to be filtered into the Knock CRM. This happens because of our tracking numbers. Now, your prospects are going to be contacting your property from a variety of different sources. In order for all of those to come into the Knock CRM, what we've done is replaced all public-facing numbers with a Knock phone number. That's the tracking number. That's how every single prospect ends up in one system. And it's also how we're going to identify what source they're coming from. Now, when we get into the system, we're going to talk more about the importance of these tracking numbers and how you can even find that tracking number or that callback number to give to your prospects. Now, the last two things that I wanted to talk about are prospect-facing interaction tool, the Knockbot, and a very specific feature that I also wanted to mention before we get into that, and that's the RealPage Unified Platform phone number importance. So, for those of you who are utilizing RealPage Unified, utilizing one site, in order for us to manage outbound calls, we're going to need to update your phone number in a specific place within the unified platform. So there is an area within the Knox CRM where phone numbers are updated. And for the rest of us, we're going to be able to utilize that. But when your phone number needs to be updated or changed, so that's, your office phone, your cell phone, depending on your company policy. So that number, that phone that's ringing when you're making those outbound calls, if you haven't already done so, you need to update that in the RealPage unified platform. So you'll access the unified platform, you'll go to your profile, and then you'll edit the phone number there. So you are editing it there. You're not editing it in the Knox CRM. So I just wanted to highlight that. When we go into the advanced session, we'll talk more about that, but I wanted to at least highlight that here for our RealPage users. So you need to update your phone number in the unified platform. That's going to sync into the Knox CRM. Now, let's get back to it for everybody else. As far as our prospect-facing interaction knockbot tool. So this is another thing that makes Knock unique. We have a knockbot, or this prospect-facing interaction tool that has been enabled on your property website. This tool is really fantastic. It allows prospects to gain and gather basic information about our property before ever contacting the office. But what it's also going to allow is self-scheduling. So very similar to, let's say, OpenTable, right? That really great application. When you want a reservation for a restaurant, you go to OpenTable, you pick the restaurant, you pick the date, you pick the time, and voila, you have your reservation. That's what this is going to be like for our prospects. They are going to be able to self-schedule utilizing that knockbot. So let's actually take a quick look at it. So here we have a website. You can think of this as your property website. And let's say I'm a prospect. I'm really interested in the property. I want to find out just a couple more things about it, though. Here at the bottom right, I have this little message bubble. It's an information bubble. This is the knockbot. When I access this, I'm going to be able to, again, get some basic information about the property, maybe prices. Maybe I want to view some photos. Maybe I want to see some FAQs. But when I'm really interested, one thing I'm going to be able to do is schedule a tour. When I click on that, it's going to open up this area. I'm going to select the type of tour depending on what type of tours your property is offering. And then I get to pick the date and the time. Maybe I want to come in on Thursday, maybe around 1 o'clock. I'll enter my information, and then I'm going to book that tour. That information is going to sync into the Knox CRM, so it can alert us, and we can prepare for our new prospect. So again, really great tool that allows for that self-scheduling. And a couple of things that we're going to talk more about later today is how we can schedule busy times if there are certain times we don't want to allow touring. And if a prospect does select a time, that's going to be removed so another prospect can't select it. So it's going to eliminate double booking. So again, a really great tool, our knockbot here, that allows for that self-scheduling. So just the first opportunity to see the prospect's point of view. Now, for the rest of our training, we're going to see your point of view, right? So as things come into the system, how we're going to be able to utilize the Knox CRM, that's what we're going to be focusing on for the rest of our training. So let's just take a quick little look. Here is the Knox CRM. This is what we are going to get very, very familiar with for the rest of today's training session. All right. So like I said, I did want to start with some core areas. All right, but like I said, we definitely want to hit on some core areas of the system today. And the first area that I wanted to talk about is what's called the engagement score. So what is it? So the engagement score is a really great tool that you're going to have access to as soon as you log into the system. And what it does is it monitors and shows our progress with completing daily tasks. So one of the best things about the system is that it is going to let us know what our to-dos are for the day, what type of follow-up, what type of engagement is needed. And as we complete that engagement, the engagement score is going to calculate and increase. And our goal is to reach 100% every day. That simply means we have completed everything on our to-do list. Now, this score is not an individual score, it is a team score. So all of our team members are working together to make sure that we're getting to that 100% or that we are hitting and meeting and completing all of our items on our to-do list. Now, this is going to end at 6 p.m. every single day. So let's go into the system and let's take a look. So again, right here, as we access our system at the very top right corner, we have a little tile labeled stats. It's here that we're going to find the engagement score. Now, right now, I can see that our engagement score is at 49.2%. So we are halfway there. That means all of us as a team have done half of all of the to-dos on our list. And as we complete the rest of them, as we make those calls, send those emails, send those text messages, schedule follow-ups, add walk-ins, we're doing all of that engagement, that number is going to continue to calculate. So as we come into the system, we can easily identify where we are as a team. Are we doing all of the engagement that's needed? Are we leaving anything on the table? How much do we need to do? How far have we gone? And how much more engagement do we need in order to get to that 100%? So again, it's just allowing us to see where we are. And then the system is going to tell us exactly what we need to do in order to calculate into that engagement score. Now, throughout today's session, as we talk about all of those different ways that we are going to engage with our prospects, that we are going to follow up with our prospects, we'll continue to highlight that engagement score and how it's going to immediately let us know where we are.